So very cool. Yeah, so we'll kill some time in here. I have that nervous habit too, Drew, by the way. That pen twirling habit. I
Oh
have that
yeah.
nervous habit too. Yeah, I can do that all day. So yeah, it's from my days of playing poker. I used to do all kinds of things with poker chips. So
Right. Just fidgeting. Hard to
just
sit still.
fidgeting, chip shuffling, all kinds of things I can do with one hand with the chips. I mean, with tournament poker, you're just sitting there waiting. So
Right.
half the time. So yeah,
At least
used to.
at least you just twirl them. I bite all my pins. My wife, she knows. She's like, "Do not touch my pins," because I know. I don't
Because she
know.
knows.
Yeah, and my daughter has the same habit too. We
That's
bite them.
that's
Yeah.
that's funny. Well, we got the doors open here. We're letting everybody in as we're doing that. Super excited about the social media piece. Obviously, it's a big deal. Drew will tell us more about that. We were all collectively having this conversation about dogs. Anybody who knows me on Facebook, I did not just adopt a Morkie. So just get that out of the way. But we want to go ahead and introduce some of the folks we have here. I do have to find the chat box. Okay, good. I can put that up there. And change my view so I get a little bit better view on this thing. That's better. Okay. All right, good deal. So we got that squared away, and I think Tony's already put some stuff in the chat box. That's good. Thank you very much, Tony, for taking care of everybody's orders, and as usual, getting this put together. So we'll get rolling. So speaking of thanks, we do have a sponsor today, and we'll get into introducing Brent Garrett, who is with Ace Relocation Services. Brent's company, their moving company, they're Atlas Van Lines, #1 line hauler. He's been there for 10 years. He's also, like me, been married for 25. I'm actually a little farther than that, but been married for 25 years and has an 18-year-old daughter in DePaul. So congratulations on that. Ace, though, they do residential and commercial moves here in Chicago or anywhere around the country. And Brent was good enough to take care of all the Jimmy John sandwiches that you guys are eating out there. His contact information is in the chat, but I want to turn it over to him so he could tell all the agents that are here how he can help you guys.
Well, thanks a lot, Rich, to your team in Cross Country Mortgage for giving me the opportunity to sponsor the social media lunch and learn today. Appreciate that. Basically, Ace Relocation Systems, we're a full service moving and storage company that's positioned ourselves throughout the United States in major markets, and to be exact, 11 major markets. So, but with that said, being part of Atlas Van Lines, we're actually positioned to help any client anywhere pretty much relocate throughout the United States and in most places in the world as well too. So we're just not just a local moving company, which we could service a lot of your clients as well, but we actually have the capability to go across the world and also the country. Been around since 1968. Like I said, not only that, we're a storage company as well. So we have storage facilities. Most are average between 45 and 50,000 square foot facilities that you can store your things in, which we've experienced a lot in this market with houses are selling a lot quicker and before your clients can actually find a new place. So we do have that capability, what we consider storage in transit. So we could definitely assist you with that. And basically what I'm looking at is to partner with professional real estate agents and brokers as an added resource. I offer what they consider free in-home and virtual surveys. So that gives me the capability, not just here locally, but also if you have clients who are moving into the Chicagoland area, I can assist those clients as well. So with that said, I'm gonna turn it over to Drew. And if you have anyone who's looking, I suggest, because things are still quite in our side of the business are still kind of cooking. So things are filling up quickly. Calendar is still booked almost to the end of August. So if you have any clients, let me know and I can assist them.
Terrific. Thank you, Brent. Thanks for covering our sandwiches and being here in attendance with us today. So before we get to Drew, just briefly, if you don't know me, my name is Rich Kimball. I'm with Cross Country Mortgage, been with Cross Country Mortgage for the last 10 years and in the mortgage business for the last 30. So one of the things that we really believe in is education and providing you guys a lot of information, and knowledge is power. We believe if we can provide just a little bit of information where you get one more closing or one more sale this year, that we've really done our job here. So a lot of different things that we do aside from that. We do a full underwrite on your pre-approvals, so that helps. And we also have a closing cost guarantee. So if you want more information on that, you could reach out to me later. We're going to get into the meat of this now. I want to introduce. Now, Drew, I'm pretty good with names, so let me see if I can do this. I think we tried this, right? I think it was Drew, and last name is Swears. Did I say that right?
You got it. You nailed it.
Nailed it. All right, good. So Drew is our social media marketing manager here at Cross Country. He has started in graphic design, excuse me, and spent the last 10 years in digital marketing. Before joining Cross Country, he was involved in a range of industries, from franchises to college universities to even fantasy sports, and working for Fortune 500 retailers. So we're very happy to have Drew here. He's going to present the PowerPoint. Before I turn it over to Drew, if you guys want to communicate, ask Drew questions, hit the chat box. I'm going to be monitoring the chat box, and then I'll bring the questions through Drew to Drew as he's actually working on the presentation. With that, the floor is yours, Drew.
Awesome. Thanks, Rich. How's everybody doing today? I hope everyone's having a good day so far. Let me get my screen situated here. I think this is the right one. Let's share this one. That looks right. Everybody seeing my screen so far? Does that look right? You guys see my screen over there?
Yeah, we've got it. I got it here.
Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, I'm super excited to be able to talk to you guys about social media today and kind of give you guys some tips and tricks, some tactical things you can take away and start implementing today. But also at the end of the day, my goal here today is to provide you guys value. You'll see that as a common trend throughout the presentation here today. This presentation is centered around three main platforms: Facebook and Instagram, and a little bit of TikTok. And the reason why I decided to center the presentation around these platforms here today is because these are some of the most widely used platforms on social media, excluding YouTube. And that's a whole nother conversation that we would probably need another hour or so for to get into that. But and so, the main ones, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok is a new emerging platform. I did want to touch on that and give you guys some helpful tools and some tactics to start diving into that platform as well. And also, my hope is at the end of this presentation, you might have a little bit more confidence in maybe venturing out into Instagram if you're not on that platform, or Facebook or TikTok for that matter. So hopefully, you'll be willing to take the leap and explore some of these other platforms. That being said, there we go. The focus for today's agenda is we're going to talk about bringing value. How do you bring value? What does that mean? We're going to look at knowing your audience and finding the right platform, going through what types of audiences are on each platform and how you can and why you should be on each one. And then lastly, we'll go super narrow and give you some kind of tactical tips on some things you can execute today on a daily basis. So let's talk about value. One of the biggest misconceptions about social media today is social media equals sales. A lot of people think, hey, I'm on social media, I'm posting, why I should have more sales. But the fact of the matter is that's just not the way things work. Social media is one part of the process, but providing value is where you're going to start to see those sales come in. So when you combine social media with providing value to your audience, that's where sales are going to start to come in. And if you want to take it one step further, you can also, look at social media, providing value, and then creating a community online. That's where you're going to see, the biggest bang for your buck and start to drive those sales and start to see those organic sales come in. When it comes to providing value, you're probably like, okay, Drew, how do I provide value for my audience? So the way we provide value for our audience here at Cross Country is we really divide our content into four main buckets. We look at content that educates our audience, content that connects with our audience, content that entertains our audience, and content that inspires our audience. And if we're trying to create some content and it doesn't align with any of those four buckets, then we scrap it and move on to the next one. So if you can align your content with any of these four topics, you're going to start to provide your audience more value. And that's where you're going to start to see that return. Now, I hope some of you here today recognize some of these people on the screen here. These are some of the top influencers when it comes to the real estate industry, mortgage industry, or social media in general. And they've done it by providing their audience value. So if you're looking for, a good resource for content inspiration, take a look at some of these people. If you don't know who they are already, I suggest you search real estate on social media and you'll find them for sure. And how do they provide value to their audience? Well, they provide value and they created a community, and that creates more attention to their social media accounts, which drive more attention, drives more engagement, which drives more time spent to the platform. And each social media network really rewards each individual user for driving more people to their platform. And the more time you can get people to spend on their platform, the higher your content's going to rank in the algorithm.
Hey, Drew, I've got a question here. So, and you may, I wasn't sure if you were going to cover it or not, but you've referenced the word community a couple times, like creating your own community. Can you speak to that, or what that means, and for our people that are watching?
For sure, yeah. So community is your online following. So it's all of your followers. So people you've worked with, people who relatives, people who are following your page. That's your community. So when you're creating content, you really want to think about who that community is. I'm a big data person myself, and so I like to look at, what's the age demographic of those people, what's the gender, what's the location, and from there you can really start to dive deep and figure out, what type of content's going to work best. If your audience and your community's more male focused, maybe having more of a masculine, upfront type of tone will work best for you. If your audience is more female, maybe there's some lighthearted, funny, nostalgia stuff you can play off of to kind of generate some more engagement and connect with them on more of a emotional level. So there's all different types of audiences. There's all different types of communities there, that each page and each person is going to have their own different type of community. So you really want to look at how what your community looks like on your social pages, and how you can target them and what type of content is going to resonate with them.
Is it feasible? So so here I'm thinking about agents. So we've got agents in here that are listing agents in here that work buyers, agents that maybe move up. I don't know if we have a lot of second home agents just because we're here in Chicago, but the question, so as a follow-up question to this community thing that you're describing, which is, I get it, is is it possible for me to create on social one community that's first time buyers, another community that's maybe all homeowners? Is that a feasible and reasonable thing to try to do?
So that's a great question. Your community on your social pages is going to be different depending on which platform you're on. So, and as you'll see as we kind of go through some of these slides here, some Facebook's going to have a different community than Instagram, than TikTok. And, so you can target them based off of, which platform you're on. And, when we get into these slides here, it'll become more clear which platforms you should kind of direct yourself towards based off of who your community kind of is. But when it comes to, one specific platform, it's a little bit harder to tell, because every page, every profile is going to be a little bit different. But you can kind of tell which segment your community falls in based off of those demographics. So,
cool.
If you're someone on Facebook, if you look at your Facebook data, you see your followings more, 30 or 45 plus, that tells me just off of what I know in my experience that maybe, you might be looking at more of a second time home buyer type of community, right? versus if you have most of your community who's maybe 25 to 35, you're maybe looking at some first-time home buyers, right? So, you got to look at the data first to kind of figure out which community you kind of fall in. Some people are really broad too. So and if that's the case, then you want to try to create content that's going to connect with both audiences, right? So you can create content that's going to connect with a first-time home buyer, and you can create content that's going to connect with, a move-up buyer or a second-time home buyer.
Cool. Yeah, I just wanted that. So it sounds like the
Yeah.
platform might drive a little bit. The platform we're on might drive the demographics. So on that note, not to steal anymore, look forward into your presentation. I'll let you keep going.
No, you're good. You're good. That's a great segue into kind of looking at the audiences on each platform. So when it comes to each platform, you really want to consider who's consuming your content. When you think about Facebook and Instagram is more of like a hybrid audience because you have your B2B people and your B2C people. When it comes to LinkedIn's very B2B focused, so that's where you're going to find more of your referral partners and things of that nature. And when it comes to TikTok, that is strictly B2C because it's very hard to or very challenging on that platform to connect with a specific local audience, but your content's showing up to more individuals. It's not showing up to the Nikes of the world. It's not showing up to, Walmart. It's showing up to those individuals who are a part of those brands. So great way to get in front of those, types of people. But at the end of the day, it's very B2C focused. And we'll talk more about TikTok later on here in a minute. When we look at Facebook's got almost 325 million users in the United States, and their target audience on Facebook, the majority of people on Facebook range between 18 and 44 years old. So I get it, that's a wide target to shoot at, but at the end of the day, each page and each platform, each profile is going to be a little bit different, but that's really the sweet spot on Facebook. So, when you're looking at Facebook and the average home buyer demographic, you're really hitting the majority of the market by being on Facebook. So if you're somebody who's, looking at, more of the millennial Gen X audience, anywhere from 31 to 55 years old, Facebook is going to be where you want to spend your time. It's where you're going to get the best bang for your buck and where you're going to see the biggest return. Now, if we look at Instagram, for example, the audience is a little bit smaller at 115 million in the United States, but still relatively similar audience to Facebook, probably because they're owned by the same company. But at the end of the day, it still skews a little bit younger. So if you're targeting more of the first-time home buyer demographic, Instagram is going to be a great platform for you to kind of dedicate some more time to and start to target and dedicate some more resources to Instagram, because that's where you're going to connect with that, younger millennial audience. Now, if we look at TikTok, it's definitely the smallest audience of the three platforms that we covered here today at 78.7 million users in the United States. But TikTok I like to consider it more of a long-term brand reputation play, because, people from 18 to 20 years old, they're probably not considering a house right now. If they are, good for them. I was not considering a house at that age by any means, but, this is going to be more of a brand reputation play because, say, Rich starts creating, one TikTok video a day or a week on the platform, and, say John sees it and he's 20 years old. Maybe when John's 25, he'll probably remember, oh, Rich creates some great content on TikTok, and I really trust him. He's got some good stuff. I'm going to reach out to Rich and see if he can help me get a loan or something. So if we look at TikTok, though, compared to our average home buyer demographic, it definitely skews on the younger side of things. That's why I consider it more of a brand reputation play. But the more time you dedicate to the platform, it's going to pay you dividends in the long term, right? So it's going to return. You're going to see that return later on down the road. And it's the same thing that goes with any other platform, like YouTube, for example. If it's like some of the big people who were early adopters of YouTube are seeing huge dividends, huge returns on their commitment to the platform when they started, 10 years ago versus to today. They're seeing great returns there. So my advice there on TikTok is, just get started, stay active. And if you can only commit to, one post a week or one post every other week, that's totally fine. But just make sure it's consistent, because you don't want to, get burnt out, and two, post 5 videos one week and then nobody hears from you for 6 months. So if you can commit to any sort of consistency, that's going to be your best bang for your buck. So if you can commit to, one Facebook post, one Instagram post a week, and then maybe one TikTok post every other week, that's gonna be where you start to see those returns, and where you start to grow your audience and start to grow your following and start to really, grow that community.
Good deal. I'm gonna interrupt here for a second,
Go for
Drew.
it.
Looks like looks like our chat was disabled and we hadn't had that problem, and we've been doing this for a couple of years now. So it looks like the chat's now live and everybody can get posted in here, which is good. So far, I got a little bit of feedback about some of the platforms people are using, and I know Sam mentioned that her Facebook is automatically connected to Instagram. I've seen that before. When you're putting a post up, they ask you, do you want to share it to Instagram too? So that's 2 for 1 right there, right, Drew?
Totally, 100%. And that's a great way to, automate your content distribution strategy. However, when it comes to automatically cross posting your content from one platform to another, you also want to be aware and be aware of the different native features that are available within each platform. For example, Facebook will actually degrade your post if you use too many hashtags. So if you're using more than 5 hashtags on a Facebook post, the algorithm knows that Drew's used 5+ hashtags. We're actually going to now downgrade that post, because he's trying to work. They understand that I'm trying to work the algorithm. So you want to take advantage of the native features within each platform.
Excellent.
Anything else in the chat there?
Nothing that I can see. I do have a question. You mentioned algorithms. So there's a question for me. A gentleman who is also involved in marketing had given me this tip that, because of the algorithms and the fact that, from a realtor's perspective, they want to post something and they want eyeballs. So the algorithms sometimes, unfortunately, separate us from the people that we might want to see them. So the gentleman that I was talking to made the following suggestion, and I'm curious of your opinion, was to seek out some of those other people that you're friends with, maybe even just jump into your friends list, click in, see what they've posted, like a post from them, and then send them an instant message like, hey, I saw you were over at the Chop House. It's a great place to eat. How have you been? That kind of thing. Would taking 10 minutes a day and going into your friends list in Facebook, finding their post, liking them, sending them an instant message, would that increase your personal visibility through the algorithms from Facebook?
Yeah, 100%. You're definitely right there. The one thing, the one recommendation I would give, though, is make sure you're doing it. You're liking and engaging with content from your business page, and then you can reach out to them directly, either from your business page or from your personal Facebook page, and drive them to your business page. So for your example there, hey, I saw you were at this great restaurant. Me and my team just had a dinner there last month. Would love if you followed my page here, and then from there it'll show that Joe. You reach out to Joe. Joe liked your page, and now your content from your business page will start populating on Joe's personal Facebook stream.
That's awesome. So that tactic would work. So from an agent perspective, one simple thing to do, particularly if you're posting to get more eyes on your post, is to maybe spend 10 minutes a day going into your friends, reaching out to them, liking them, messaging them. And who knows, that message could create a dialogue where, hey, saw you love the Chop House. Oh yeah, it was great. Like you said, me and my team went in there. How's everything doing? How you liking that? If it's one of your former clients, hey, how are you liking the house? How do you like the neighborhood? That type of thing. We do have some questions that are starting to come in, which is great. One of the questions Sam asked is, and you may be covering this, but we're going to ask anyway, but hey, I'm not too tech savvy and I don't know how to create the content to market my business. So where can an agent go find content to post?
That's if there was a magic wand I could wave over the internet, I would, and give you all of the keys to the castle and give you all the content to create, all the tools to create the content that you need to. But at the end of the day, it's all about your personality and who you are. So all it boils down to, and Rich, I think you mentioned this earlier, if you could just reach one more person, or 1% of people, the 1% of your following, that's going to make that your and have your content visible to that 1%, more than you had before. That's really all that you're striving to do. You're not going to go viral off your first post. Let's be honest here. It takes time, it takes commitment, but the more you do it, the more it starts to become a little bit more natural. And it really just boils down to putting in the work and creating the content yourself. So the best thing I like to do for some of my clients and some of the loan officers here at CCM is I always ask them, what are the top 3 questions you get asked most frequently, right? And so they usually tell me I get asked XYZ, and I say, okay, now go create 3 posts for each one of those questions, answering each one of those questions. And so if you have 3 questions, you create 3 posts for each one. You have 9 pieces of content. Bada bing, bada boom. You distribute them across each platform. You have over 24 pieces of content that you've created in just by your daily experience. So really, it's more of just utilizing your daily experience to create the content that people are going to connect with. And when it comes to marketing on social media is more of I look at it as more of a paid aspect, whereas organic social is more of creating that. It goes back to creating that community. What types of content is your community going to be interested in? Are they going to be interested in lower rates? Are they going to be interested in they're probably going to be more interested in the housing market in their area? How many homes are available? Is there something that I might be interested in, that's got 4 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms? They might be interested more in that than, saying, okay, well, right now we probably don't want to talk about rates because it's not such a great market. But at the end of the day, you want to create content that people are going to connect with and engage with.
So one of the things that, and again, for Sam that's asked the question, one of the things that I've heard is, aside from answering those questions, and we get those questions all the time, and I'm sure the agents do, like, is there a housing bubble? Are things slowing down? What could I do? I mean, there's a lot of questions you guys as agents get. One of the things that I had heard that some agents have done is they've went to, let's say, another market. So let's say you go on the internet and you Google, you go into your Instagram, but you search Realtor Albuquerque, New Mexico. And now you find some content from an agent outside of your market and you go, oh my gosh, this is great stuff. All I got to do is copy it, put it into my market. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily send a link that goes back to that agent, but literally, if you're looking for ideas, there are some agents that are crushing it in social media outside our market. Your people that watch you on social media aren't going to know that you just got a great idea from an agent in San Diego or in Charleston. So I mean, that would be another place, in my opinion, to go out and get some content. Drew, if you want to speak to that, otherwise I'm going to get to the next question because we got a bunch coming in now.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great strategy to take advantage of. Find, just Google, you're not Google, but like go to Instagram and search realtors of Instagram or realtors on Instagram in general. And, there's tons of people who are, absolutely crushing it when it comes to creating content. 2 accounts, one account on Instagram that I actually really enjoy watching is it's called What's a Mortgage is the handle there.
What's it called?
The handle is What's a Mortgage.
Oh, nice.
That's it. Yeah, and I'm sure he's probably one of the early adopter of Instagram, but his content's more entertaining, humorous, but it's all about, mortgage rates and things of that nature. If you're looking for, a great, another resource for content inspiration, Scott Bentley on TikTok does a great job on TikTok of creating, just again, more entertaining, more funny TikTok real estate videos. That I'm not a LO by any means. I'm not in the mortgage industry, but I still find them entertaining.
That's good. So our next question is, hold on, I got to scroll a touch. I think that's from Mari. Yep. Mari asked, what are your thoughts on YouTube? I know it wasn't one of your chosen platforms, so maybe you just want to throw a paragraph or two out there about what your thoughts are on YouTube.
Yeah, so YouTube is I consider YouTube today's educational resource. So if you're going to create, educational videos about, how to break through into the real estate industry, how to start as a realtor, that's a great place to go and start creating and producing content on YouTube, because, those key terms are, highly searchable and, going to definitely generate more traffic to your website, or, whatever sort of link you put into the caption there. But if you're, just creating content in general, YouTube's probably not going to give you much of a return. It's more, of an educational, informative resource at this point. That's the way I look at it, outside of YouTube TV. But so that's the route I would go. If you're looking to, create some instructional videos, educate people about, the real estate industry, YouTube's definitely going to be a great resource to take advantage of. And then you can drive people to, your other platforms, or, put in referral links into your caption so that you can, track the responses and track, the engagement of your content.
Yeah, I think, and I think from what I've seen from YouTube, it's kind of a long play. Like, you just constantly have to put things there. We did recently, in the last couple of months, we had an agent from Virginia reach out to us based on something that we had up on YouTube. So that was interesting. Kristen wanted us to repeat how many of the hashtags would keep us under the bar to be degraded in Facebook, and I believe the number was 5, right?
Correct. Yeah. I from my research and everything, if you see people that say don't use any hashtags, you say people that use as many hashtags as you can. But at the end of the day, I've found that 5 is kind of that sweet spot where, my post isn't going to get degraded. But the performance is going to be hurt by using too many hashtags. So yeah, I would go with 5, and make sure they're broad enough, but not too specific to where people aren't going to search them. So if it's like, real estate of Illinois or something, people probably aren't going to search that on Facebook. But if, it's realtor tips, that's, more of a searchable term that people might use on Facebook there.
Or Naperville real estate or Schaumburg real estate. Those are some of the communities here in the Chicago area.
Exactly.
So, Drew Franklin asked, how do you view the demographics on your audience in Facebook? I think that's a great question. So, do you have to default to the national, or is there a way for you to figure out what the demographics are to the people that are in your farm, I guess, or your community, right?
Yeah. So when you go into, your Facebook business page, there's a tab on the left. Depends. Facebook is in the process of rolling out a new interface. So it depends on which experience you're in right now. But if you're in the standard Facebook experience, there's a tab on the left-hand side that'll say Insights. And you can click Insights on your Facebook business page, and it'll take you to a page that'll show you, you can click followers, and you can see that demographic information. And I'm doing it on my other screen right now. So if it looks like I'm not paying attention, I am. But yeah, so you can click Insights, and you can go in there. You can see, a breakdown of your demographic, and the same thing goes for Instagram as well. You can go to, I think it's your dashboard, on Instagram, and you can see all your demographic information there.
Is it too difficult for you to show us that, or
no.
just yeah, I was going to say, I want to walk through, show people where to actually find the demographics on their Facebook business page. So
if we're looking at we're looking at Cross Country Mortgage page. Once it loads here, there's insights right down here on the left-hand side. So
Okay.
you can click insights right there, and then you have all these different data points that it'll break it down for you by. So messages, people, stories, posts, reach, page views, followers. So if you click followers, it'll show you, when your followers are most engaged, page following, unfollows, things of that nature. You can go to people, and it'll show you, breakdown of, how many people are following you in the United States, how many people are following you from specific areas and things. And then it'll also show you age demographic and gender demographic. So you can see here, our page here at CCM is, skews a little bit on the female side of things, specifically between, 35 and 44.
Oh, that's great. I mean, it's great. I didn't even know that was there. So that's really cool. I think that's what Franklin was looking for, so he can figure that out. So that's awesome. Let's see here. Let me click. Mariah wants to know, can you share the name of the other agent that you had, Scott? You'd mentioned Scott, something to look up on Instagram.
Yeah, here, I'll throw them up in the chat here.
Okay,
Scott
good.
Bentley. Scott Bentley is his name.
Scott, yeah. There it is. Okay, cool. There you go, Mariah. And then Franklin said, can you cover pixels and retargeting? Wow, deep dive. I think we just left everybody else in the dust. So maybe you want to back up, since Franklin's obviously a little bit farther. He's farther ahead of me. So
Yeah.
you want to speak to that?
Yeah. So when it comes to pixels and retargeting, that's definitely on the paid side of things. That's more of a paid effort. So, there's a ton of documentation out there, a ton of different strategies when it comes to Facebook pixels and retargeting. My general, thought process and strategy is, creating one pixel and creating a retargeting strategy that, you serve one piece of content up to a larger audience, and then you retarget them. So you start broad and then you go narrow. So you have your one pixel, and then you retarget that audience that interacts with that content or that piece of collateral there. And then you retarget them with a soft sell, and then you work them further down the funnel, and then you reserve them another post with more of a hard sell. So it's like one broad piece of content, then a more of a personal piece of content, and then a hard sell that says, hey, sign up here today, or hey,
Wow.
let's get on the phone today. But when it comes to, our conversation here today, this is more organic content, and how, and best strategies to use to, grow your following from an organic standpoint.
All right, cool. I think we are out of questions for the moment, so we'll let you get back to the PowerPoint.
Awesome. Yeah. So we've gone through, how to provide value. We've gone through the audiences on each platform, what platforms might be best for you. Now I have some, actual tactical tips on how things you can execute today and start to utilize going forward. There we go. So, best practices, like I've mentioned before, providing value, bringing the energy are two main things that are going to, make your content stand out amongst everything else on the feed. When it comes to bringing energy, there's actually, the reason why I include that in here is because there's actually a girl on TikTok right now who has created a following of, she has over 1 million followers on TikTok, all around Excel tips and tricks. Now, everyone probably here uses Excel to some factor, and it's not the most glamorous topic, but because she brings energy and she makes it so much fun, people actually start following her just to see what she's doing, and might not even be interested in Excel. So if you can bring some energy to your content, that's going to really help you stand out. When it comes to best practices as well, responding to the comments, to your DMs, a lot of people overlook that fact. So creating content is one factor that that goes into your social media strategy. But the other part of it is actually engaging with that community that you're creating. About 40% of users actually expect a response within an hour from brands today. And So with that, the way I look at it is if somebody can take, 5 to 30 seconds out of their day to leave a comment on my post, the least I can do is take, 5 seconds out of my day to respond to them or engage with them. And, the downside of that though, is if you look at the graphic here today, about 71% of users actually go to Facebook just to post about a complaint, and so why that while that might be a little discouraging, by engaging with those people who post those complaints actually show the rest of your audience that you're a real person and that you're worthwhile having a conversation with because you actually care and you're willing to go the extra mile to respond to them and hopefully sort out whatever issue they have. Also, when it comes to it, people trust people. They have a hard time trusting brands, and that's why if you can showcase a little bit of your personality, your authenticity, people are going to trust you a little bit more. It's going to give you a little more rapport and build you a little more reputation with your audience. Another thing is for the realtors on the call here today, you probably have a close network of people that you work with on a consistent basis. There's no harm in sharing your post with them and asking them to go like and engage with your content, and the one reason why that's beneficial is because if you can get 5 to 10 people to like or comment or share your post within the first 10 minutes of your post going live, it actually kind of tricks the algorithm a little bit and makes it think that, okay, a lot of people are engaging with this post right away. It's very valuable. Now we're going to start serving it to more people. Another thing I like to always tell people is always think mobile first, because over 90% of people are actually viewing or looking at their social media platforms on their mobile device. So you're going to want to think about, how is this going to look on mobile and not be too concerned on how much it's going to look on desktop. And then lastly, including your captions in your videos is going to be a game changer for your content performance, because as you can see here, 85% of people actually view their social media feeds with their sound off. I know I do. And if you can actually include your captions in your videos, people are going to stop for a second and actually digest some of that content and see what's going on in that video, versus if you don't have any captions and people are just scrolling through their feed, they're not going to stop. So a couple quick tips there. And let's take a look at how we can actually distribute one post into 3 different platforms very seamlessly. So I created this post here and actually contextualized it to take advantage of the native features in each different platform. So if we look at, and then also with these posts, you're also going to want to consider the audience on each platform. So if we look at Facebook, for example, I went with this 4:3 image, which is going to take up more real estate on people's feed when they're looking at it on mobile, because it's a taller photo. So I'm going to gain more real estate as people are scrolling through their feed. And I customized that caption a little bit by throwing in an emoji. Versus if you look at the Instagram post, I kept it as a square image, and then I differentiated it by including those hashtags. So you can see I have hashtags here on Instagram, but not on Facebook. And then when it comes to LinkedIn, I threw in a little call to action here. What do you think of the color palette, to kind of drive some engagement with that B2B audience and see, if I can get some feedback from them there. So a really quick and easy way, to take one post and take advantage of the native features that are available within each platform.
Hey, and a quick question for you, Drew. Actually, there's 2 things. So there's one thing in the chat John had put in here. I don't know if this is a question or a statement, and you covered this a little bit, but only 15% of audiences of videos have any interest in talkies. I'm not sure what talkies, I don't know what exactly is. He's talking about the actual verbal versus the caption.
Oh, I wonder if he's talking about, the closed caption there.
Oh.
I haven't seen that data before, but I've seen from the content we've posted and the content I've posted that if I include the closed caption there on the video, I see a better return on engagement there than if I don't.
So, and that's fine. I just wanted to address that. The other thing that I heard, like on Facebook, as far as creating engagement, one of the things to do is just post a question, or maybe post for a realtor standpoint, you post maybe 3 different front porches and then ask them which one do they like, A, B, and C. And then as things are responding, that's actually creating activity, which is obviously pushing that information to the business page out more. Is that an accurate way to create some feedback?
100%. Yeah. Including those call to actions and, creating that conversation with your community is a great way to drive more engagement on your pages. Whether, you're doing like a string of 3 photos, or, you post just a poll question that says, how many houses are available in Schaumburg, Illinois? And then, you see what everybody else's answers are. You could say and then respond to each person. It's really quick to say, actually it's 456. Actually, or close, but no, it's closer to 456. And responding to those comments is going to, again, work that algorithm a little bit more, because instead of it just showing 4 comments, if you respond to each one of those comments, now it's going to show 8 comments because you responded to each one. So it's going to work that algorithm a little bit more. So posting the question is a great first step. And then the next portion of that strategy would be then to go and respond to each one of those.
So Dahlia wanted to know, she said, that's a great tip. So post the superimposed with the text transcript view of the video, question mark?
Yeah, so I think she's, I don't know if she's pointing to, the actual square image text that I have here, but yes, posting, the actual caption of the video, of the text for the video over the overlay on the video is a great strategy to use.
Got it. Okay.
Any other questions there?
I think I'm caught up with everything.
Perfect. So when I have, 3 great Facebook best practices here. One, create some localized content featuring your community, because people want to work with people that they can, know, like, and trust. And so if you can showcase that, you're a part of the community, whether or not, you are involved in local groups, or, you attend any local events. For example, we just had the Italian festival here in Cuyahoga Falls. If you're going to something like that, just post a picture of yourself there and, say, hey, loving seeing everybody from the community all in one place. It's really quick and easy to, showcase your personality a little bit and show who you are. And, that's going to, gain people's trust and make you, look like, you're participating in the community. You actually care. Second, use more candid photos or videos. A lot of people are really concerned about, oh, it doesn't look professional enough. Oh, I need this, Photoshop. At the end of the day, it honestly doesn't matter, because people, want to see your authentic self. So if your hair's all messed up, or, the wind's blowing, or there's a dog in the background, those little nuances actually bring out personality into your photos, into your creative, and people actually like to see that stuff. And then lastly, look for some local Facebook groups to join, but don't only join them, engage in the conversations with them. So like I mentioned, I'm in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio here. Some of these screenshots are from a local group that I'm a part of. This guy here, Gary's interested in selling his home after 39 years. That's a great conversation for you to jump into and, offer your services and let them know that you're available to help. But it also doesn't have to be just, mortgage or real estate focused. It can also be like favorite restaurants near Sugar Creek. You could say, hey, check out Joe's Taco Truck on 4th Street. And what that's going to do is, that's going to build your reputation. That's going to, get your name in front of some people. You can also, plug the link to your Facebook business page or anything like that. I wouldn't do that every time, but, every once in a while, it's definitely acceptable to do that depending on the group's rules. But, it's a great way to build brand reputation just by being a part of those conversations. And honestly, it's not a big time commitment either. It takes about not even 5 minutes to do. Go and, go to the local page, scroll through, find a post that you can engage with. And again, that's also working the algorithm a little bit more, showcasing that you're engaging on the platform, that you're, committed, and that you're utilizing the platform as well.
One thing, Drew, too, I hear a lot of people talk about, I've been doing video for a while, and whenever I see somebody in our industries, whether it's real estate or mortgages, they're being interviewed, and their YouTube channel's on fire. They got lots and lots of followers. They're getting business, literally closing transactions based on those videos. They always talk about, like, that first one was awful, and it's okay because you just got it done. You got it done, and does the production quality of what they do now look like what it did 5 years ago? No, of course not. They've gotten better. The key to this on videos is just to start it. Forget about what you look like. That old saying is, like, if you're worried about what you look like in camera, what do you think you look like in person? It's the same person. You
Right.
sound the same, you look the same. People aren't afraid of you. You don't, nobody runs away from you in the store when they see you. So they're not going to run away when they see your video. Just shoot the video. Just get it done. So
100%. What I can't remember the saying. I think it's something like perfection kills progress.
yep.
So, if you're too worried about being perfect, you're never going to get started. So just start, just do something. And even if you, like I mentioned before, if you can reach one more person than you reached the day before, that's all that matters. Your content's seen by one more person, and maybe you impacted them on a positive note.
Absolutely.
Instagram. Instagram to be honest, is my bread and butter. It's where I got started when it comes to digital marketing. It's one of the platforms I'm most familiar with. So first tip though, carousels will help increase your engagement. So carousels, for those of you who don't know, are the little cards that you can kind of swipe through. And another thing you can do is, if you have a video, actually you can create a carousel out of that video just by taking one screenshot from that video and posting that as your first slide and say, see video, and then they can swipe over to the next slide and then they'll watch your video. And the reason why, that actually increases your engagement is because Instagram counts that swipe as an engagement. So your content's actually going to start to get served by more people for the more people that just swipe it versus having to like or comment on that video.
So a carousel is a way to post something on Instagram, right? You have a choice of where to post
Yeah.
it. It's kind of like on Facebook where you could do the create a story or you could post. It's the same difference.
You got it. Yeah. So
Okay.
on Instagram, you have stories, you have your regular posts, you have a video post, and you have a carousel. So carousels though are a great way to drive some more engagement to your content. Also using stories to drive engagement to your posts. So you can actually just share your post to your story. And one thing I like to do is put a big question mark or kind of gray out my post and say, check out today's post. And if they click that box, it'll take them right to that post. So
Cool.
It's a great way to drive more engagement to your content through stories and also stay more active and relevant on the platform. Another thing I always like to recommend to people who are very emoji heavy is try not to use more than 3 emojis. Any more than 3 and you're just going to come off a little spammy. So limit it to just 3. And it also makes your caption look a lot cleaner. And then lastly, I like to use the 15 hashtag formula for success. So, I like to look for hashtags that have been used anywhere from 50,000 times to 2 million times. The reason why is because anything less than 50, there's not enough reach there. And anything more than 2 million, it's just too competitive. It's going to be really hard to break through. And then I like to break them down into 3 specific buckets. So I like to go with 5 branded hashtags. So, whether or not you have a team hashtag or, a company hashtag, using those as your main hashtags that you're going to use on every post, and then go with 5 location specific hashtags. And you can mix these up, whether like this example is for Fairfield, Connecticut. You could do Schaumburg, Illinois. You could do, Chicago. You could do any state or any city you want to do and mix it up, but using 5 of those hashtags and then using 5 content specific hashtags. So this example here is a just closed post. So you can see on the right hand side, I have my 5 branded ones, my 5 location ones, and my 5 content specific ones. And if you can do this, for every post on a consistent basis, you'll be amazed at how much more reach you get and how much more engagement you get just by using 15 hashtags. And it took me, 3 minutes to find all these hashtags. All I did was search Fairfield, Connecticut, and, went through some of the top posts, found some other ones that were within that 50 to 2 million sweet spot, jotted them down and went from there. So, really great strategy you can use to increase your engagement and reach a lot more people on Instagram.
So I'm about to show my naivety for Instagram, but how do you figure out how many times they've been used?
So when you click on a specific hashtag, it'll take you to a page and it'll show you right at the top. It'll say, 300,000 or 1.2 million. So you can see right at the top how many times it's been used.
Oh, that's cool. That's great
And
stuff. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so I'll go a little bit further into Instagram here. One strategy that I've seen used very successfully is people actually go search, if we're talking Fairfield, Connecticut here, realtors of Fairfield, Connecticut. They'll search that hashtag. They'll go and find, a specific post, like that post, comment on it, and then go to that profile of that post, and then they'll follow them and put on an alert for when they post again, and they'll comment on their next 5 posts. And then after they've reached 5 posts, they'll go and actually send them a direct message and try to meet up with them or try to, establish a relationship with that person to, continue to, grow their network and grow their following. And it's just a great strategy I've seen work time and time again.
That's cool.
And then lastly, TikTok. So, TikTok, I just have some general best practices here. I don't know how advanced everybody is here on the call today, so I tried to keep this one, pretty broad. But when you're creating or filming your TikTok video, always consider the lighting and framing and make sure your audio sounds good. You don't want to sound like you're in a wind tunnel or anything. But one pro tip I can also give is, just record the whole video in one long length, and then you can chop out the portions that you don't like. If you mess up, you can edit that portion out versus stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. On TikTok, it can become pretty daunting to keep having to stop and start again. So just record it in one long video and then you can edit out the parts you don't like. Another great resource to take advantage of is, the search functionality. You can search for the top trending hashtags. You can search for the top soundtracks being used. And then also, keep an eye out for any trending concepts that you see or any trending topics. A lot of people, will produce one video, and then all of a sudden you'll see, 1,800 people producing videos that are very similar to that viral concept. So, that's a really great way to kind of jump on that bandwagon and, take advantage of that timely conversation. And then lastly, I grabbed some of the top performing hooks that people are using on TikTok. So for those of you that don't know what a hook is that first 5 seconds of your video that people see when they first watch it. So you could these are very simple fill in the blanks. So 3 best ways to blank, close in 20 days or less, right? That's the intro to your video, and then you can expand upon your video about how to close in a shorter time frame. Or are you struggling with finding a buyer for your home? Just fill in the blank, and then you can talk about how people can go about finding more qualified buyers for their home. So some really great hooks to kind of take advantage of and intro your videos to, and that you'll start to see a lot more engagement, a lot more views.
Cool. Drew Dahlia wants to know, are there any programs that you recommend to quickly parse out clips within the video from the middle?
Yes. So video editing, is a skill set that, comes with time. It's not something you're just going to be able to pick up and, I can apply all these effects and I know how to use this. So, YouTube, like I mentioned before, is a great resource to find some video editing software or video editing apps. I like to use Adobe Rush, which is available. It's also a mobile app that's available. And then for people who don't have, the Adobe Suite or anything like that, what's the other one I use? Let me see.
Tony mentioned Canva.
Canva's another good one. Yeah. I think it's Clips. Yeah, it's just called Clips. I'll use it and it's an app called Clips. And then you can, chop your video up, put little stickers on there. You can, make it look really fun and stuff. But honestly, what also I've seen work really well and what's worked well for me too is just using the TikTok video editing app. TikTok's got a great video editing software built into it. You can do a lot of overlays. You can do green screens. You can do text overlays and stuff like that. So if you're just starting out and looking for something to take advantage of, I would just use the TikTok video app as a great place to start. And then you can venture out into, maybe some of the Adobe products or, Canva or Clips if you're not finding what you need from TikTok.
Cool. We're getting close to the end of our time that we have blocked out here. How are we doing on your presentation, Drew? Are we almost squared away?
I got one last slide here. So
cool.
Bonus slide. Everyone loves a bonus content, right?
Heck
so
yeah.
I'm sure everyone here gets some great Zillow reviews, and then you take those Zillow reviews and you turn it into some sort of static graphic with a little snippet of the review, right? While that's great, I feel like, I know you can do it better. One of the ways you can do it better is at your closing, or when you're handing the buyers their keys to their home, take out your phone and ask them for 1 minute of their time and record them answering these 3 quick questions. Why did you choose me? How was the transaction? And would you recommend me to others? And the reason why this is a great strategy to start implementing is because, like I mentioned before, people trust people. And now you're creating content that's from other people talking about the services that you provide. And you can easily create now 4 pieces of content from this 1 minute video from your clients. So, you have 1 video, why did you choose me? 1 video, how was the transaction? 1 video, would you recommend me to others? And then a 4th video is just all 3 of those put together. So a great way to create 4 testimonial pieces of content. Get your name out there with other people. You can also tag the homeowners in their posts. And then also, in this deck here, I have 4 great resources for you to take advantage of: a full-length, jam-packed Facebook growth strategy document, some YouTube best practices, and then some other social media best practices for you guys.
So this is how we're going to get those to these guys.
I can post it. Does the chat go to people who have left yet? Or
no, you know what? You could send it to Tony, and Tony will make sure she gets it out to everybody on the chat. So
okay.
Everybody that actually was here. So yeah, but she can make out. I got a couple. I think I got 1 or 2 questions. Then we're going to get into our announcements for a bunch of events we have coming up. Let me make sure I didn't miss this. Okay, here we go. Kristen says, do you have a recommendation for a meme generator for creating your own memes?
Canva would be the best resource to use. Or honestly, sometimes I'll just use the iPhone editing app and I'll just put text over the picture. I'll just take a screenshot of it, put text over a picture, and make a meme that way.
Cool. That's awesome. All right. So I don't have any other questions yet. I want to take a look at my calendar. So we do have, we have coming up. Tony, do we still have room for a week from this Saturday? You have to let me know.
Yes, we do. Are you talking about the summer?
I am. So we are having a summer extravaganza picnic. We have actually rented out a picnic grove here in Bussey Woods on Saturday, July 30th. We're going to have a food truck there. We're going to have games for the kids, and it's going to be a lot of fun. If you have interest in that, reach out to us. Good day for the family. It's going to be from 12 to 4, Saturday, July 30th. We also have our next presentation in our Realtor Lunch and Learn series is going to be about credit. So we're doing a credit lunch and learn on August 17th. Our guest speaker will be Jim Drusky from Illinois Credit Services. This is somebody that we've leaned on for over a dozen years to help our clients when they are credit challenged. So Jim's going to tell and give us the latest information about what's going on with credit, medical collection, some of the law changes, and maybe some information on some new credit reports that are coming. So if you want updated information on that, come check that event out. That same day, that evening, I'll be doing, I think it's 5:30 to 6:30. Tony can confirm that for me. 5:30 to 6:30 that night, we will be doing a home buying seminar for anybody that's thinking about buying a home, whether this is the first time, second, or third time. come check out our home buying seminar. We're going to be doing that for any clients there. That's going to be an hour Zoom presentation as well. And am I missing anything else, Tony? I think I got it covered for the next 45 days, right?
I think so.
All right, perfect. We've got some signups for that. You guys can always reach out to us. We do appreciate you. Drew, thank you for your expertise. I learned a lot. I know Brent said he learned a lot. So Brent, thank you for your
Awesome.
sponsorship. We do appreciate you a ton. Tony, as always, none of this stuff happens without you. So I thank you very much. Drew, any last words for social media?
Nothing about social media. But I will actually be in Schaumburg, Illinois, for Labor Day weekend.
Nice, nice. Well, we will have to connect. So I
For
live in
sure.
this town too, so I wouldn't mind meeting up with you.
Sounds good.
That'd be awesome. All right, guys. Thank you, everybody, and we will hopefully see you in a couple weeks out at Bussy Woods. Take care.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Hi, guys.